Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. It's my pleasure to speak with Dr. Ian Brooks, who is a Senior Solutions Engineer and Data Scientist at Cloudera in conjunction with Cloudera's Data Cloud Summit. Ian, thanks so much for joining us today. How's it going?
It's going great. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. I look forward to talking today about some of the obviously great content that came out of the summit as we wrap things up. But particularly, I'd like to start off today. It's the beginning of 2021. We're halfway through January, and it already feels like it's been an entire year in some respects. But as we look forward to the remaining 11 and a half months of the year, what are some of the biggest priorities in the government space for data management?
I mean, it's this is a great question. So some of the biggest priorities I think the government needs to do, especially agencies, is determine where they are in that process, and then determine what they want to do with their data ultimately. So think of like a best wish kind of situation, but really at the same time, evaluate where you are in the process. If you're beginning, you need to identify use cases, individuals that can help you in that process, keeping it simple. If you've already adopted a platform, you need to be thinking about how can I enable my folks on to access my platform and use that data more? And if you've done all those things, then you need to think about how you can actually extend what you've been working on and maybe data sharing or maybe taking it to the next level. It's a great question though.
Great, great, great way to start off. One of the trends from last year that kind of came up unexpectedly in some aspects was COVID-19, and obviously that's going to linger, indefinitely through into 2021 as well. So I'd love to talk now about how COVID-19 has sort of further emphasized the importance of and need for strong data management and data sharing practices.
I mean, yeah, you absolutely hit the nail on the head there. Is an absolute need now with COVID here. And I look at COVID as nothing more than a catalyst of change across everything, including technology. And so in this case, it absolutely exposed data access patterns that can be secure. So the biggest thing now is if you have folks working from home, how can you enable them to do their work, access the data they need, but do that in a way that's secure? And that's incredibly important today. I mean, and absolutely COVID drove that out.
So another big topic that we heard quite a bit at the summit about was, the adoption of cloud and artificial intelligence, emerging technologies writ large. And with those ones specifically, what should agencies look to when adopting cloud and artificial intelligence? What should they consider when it comes to their data?
This is a great question here. Yeah, many agencies today are adopting both types of different technologies, and particularly even both in some situations. So we had a couple pieces here. Is when you're considering cloud, think about your long-term use. Are you going to put all of your data in the cloud? Some of your data? Are you going to adopt a multi-cloud? Because that could be pretty important as well, not to get stuck into a single cloud provider. And then on the other side of the coin here, artificial intelligence. You need to be asking yourself, can I trust my data? If I feed a machine learning model, can I trust the results? Do I have individuals that I actually trust that can interpret the results, prepare the data in a proper way, and actually build models that mean something? It's easy to build models. It's more difficult to build models that are worth something. It's a great question, though.
Great. And as we close out, what we heard a lot about at the summit was that, sort of the nirvana of a modern environment, and especially in a federated environment like the federal government, is the ability to share data. My question is, obviously that's great, but there's obviously some security concerns when it comes to bringing something off of your hardware and sending it out to someone else. So as data sharing increases in the federal government, how should agencies and organizations think about the security risks that are presented by that?
Yeah, this is a great question. And security risk, especially with data access, is going to always be big. I actually think they should think worst case scenario. If they had their most secure, confidential data and that got out, what would happen? And I actually think thinking of it on bottom up situation, whereas if adversaries were able to gain our most secure data, what could they do with that? And then thinking in reverse of, okay, let's build ways and mechanisms and process that can keep folks from getting all of that secure data, or be able to merge different data sets that might be able to point out individuals, for example. This is a great question, and it will continue to be a problem for many years.
All right, Ian, thank you so much. It's been a fantastic conversation with you today. And I loved discussing some of the bigger trends that we learned at the summit this year. So that's it. But it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you very much.